Ho ho ho, it's that time of year once again, folks. Christmas time. We got the decorations up. You can't really see it because it's in the corner, but I got the Christmas jumpers. And hey, around the Christmas season, every time you go to a shopping mall, you normally see a Father Christmas's grotto set up somewhere in order to go and see the big man himself, wondering how he can be in so many places at once. So, you pay a visit to see the big man himself, Santa Claus, and, well, I mean, look, if you're a kid, you might want to turn this one off now. Because we all know Santa Claus exists, am I right? But he has a lot of important work to do, meaning that he can't be in some shopping centre in Albuquerque 3 weeks before Christmas. Yes, of course, the real Santa is way too busy with his elf whipping responsibilities a couple of weeks before Christmas, meaning that he has to have other people fill in for the real Santa Claus in order to go to these shopping malls and basically drink cheap vodka and dress up as Father Christmas and ask kids what they want for Christmas. So, your question might be, how does one become a Santa Claus? And, well, it's surprising to say that there's actually entire schools dedicated to how to become Father Christmas. You got what it takes to be Santa Claus yourself? Well, today we're gonna find out. Hello! Welcome to Brain Spill, the laziest show on the internet. My name is Tank, and the idea for going to a school in order to learn a new skill or trade is nothing new. However, if that skill or trade is becoming Father Christmas, then we've got a lot to be talking about today. Because for me in particular, I didn't even know this was a thing until, well, you know, when I wrote the script for this video. Whilst there are many different forms that a Santa school can take, I've looked into a few of the larger institutions to get an idea of what's really involved in this process. For many venues and events at this time of year, it's no surprise that people want to book themselves a professional Father Christmas. So much so that there's an entire industry built around the practice. Shopping centres, office parties, private events, it's all there. There's some sites where you can basically put in your details of where you are and what you need, and they can tailor-make a Santa Claus for you. Almost like airdropping Father Christmas into whatever you need them for. Pretty interesting. There's a lot at stake here, as yes, whilst you can have any other variation of Santa Claus you can think of, there is the stereotypical one that is in most people's minds as to what they expect when they see somebody dressed as Santa Claus. I'm talking big jolly fellow, rosy cheeks, red suits, we all know the guy we're talking about here. If you want to be a good Father Christmas, you're going to have to play up to the stereotype, my friend. I suppose it's the same as any profession. If you're not good at what you do and you're only going to get cheap gigs when you're not really the convincing deal. So, whilst you could wear a $10 outfit, you're not really going to look the part, and you're probably only going to get paid about $10 for doing it. Just looking at one example I found online, it states that they run a Santa school for a small fee, in which new hires will be taught a whole host of things. We're going to touch base on a few of those things today, to give you an idea of perhaps what it takes to be granted the mantle of Santa Claus. Everyone knows that Santa is there for one reason and one reason only, to give presents to the good kids. Therefore, it's pretty important, first and foremost, that you yourself are good with kids. Look, it's kind of a given. I mean, you're dressing up mainly for children, so you obviously need to make sure that you're good with children. I don't think I need to spell that out to you, but I'm just going to be abundantly clear here that you need to be, what am I saying here? Not on the register is what I mean to say. So yes, of course, many countries have their own versions of checks that they do to make sure that you're all good to go. And I imagine that 9 times out of 10, that's not a problem. So, provided you've got over the first hurdle, you're already doing better than some people. So yeah, dealing with kids, particularly troublesome, shy or scared children, is a must. You know what, I'd be pretty scared too if I went to go and sit on a stranger's lap and tell them what I wanted for Christmas that year. I mean, when I was young, I barely really understood what Christmas was, and I know for a fact I'd feel like this because that's exactly what happened to me. I met Father Christmas when I was younger and then cried my eyes out. So, yeah, look, we've all got to start somewhere. Patience is important, and not even for the children, for the parents as well. You're pretty much going to need to be a friendly and approachable Father Christmas. Because nobody wants someone grumpy, particularly when he's there to ask you what you want for Christmas. You then need to look the part. You need to have the outfit, how to wear it, and how to look after it. You're going to need to be looking your best, so a lot of time and care is required to make sure that you look the part. This all might start sounding familiar, and if you've ever watched The Simpsons, particularly this episode, you'll know exactly that Simpsons already did it. All of this seems pretty self-explanatory, but there's a little bit more to the job than perhaps you'd think, as, well, when you think about it, when you're talking to Father Christmas, you want people to believe that you are actually Father Christmas. Therefore, questions surrounding Santa Claus and his workshop, and his reindeer and presents and everything, you need to be prepared to answer those questions. Basically, when you've got a child who's going to ask you 101 questions about how on earth you get around the world in blisteringly light speed time, you need to have an answer ready for that. And you also need to remember every other reindeer's names, you need to know all of the stereotypical traits that you would give as Father Christmas. Basically, you need to become him, learn everything about him, and, well, just be there to answer any questions you may get. Not only that, but you also need to have a good idea of what the hot toys are that Christmas. As if you're asking kids what they want for Christmas, you're going to have to be pretty dang sure that you know what some of the biggest toys this year are. So yes, when Jimmy comes to you and says that he wants to max out his mum's credit card on V-Bucks, you kind of have an idea of what the hell this kid's on about. You also have to take a good picture. I mean, you have to be a photogenic guy. You've got to be there ready to take a snap. As this is a largely self-employed gig, you're taught about the tact of finding out what your value is and what your services should be charged for. But this particular website I found listed many benefits, such as improving your confidence, learning from a professional Father Christmas, earning money during the festive season, and having pictures taken to promote your services to clients. All seems fairly well-rounded. It even says, wait for it, that you get a certificate for having attended a Santa school. Oh wow, that sounds pretty epic. Screw my university degree, I'm doing this. And yeah, there we have it. That's what you have to do. You got to go to Santa school, and then you got to learn how to be Santa Claus. I mean, there's none of this trying to eat mince pies without getting acid reflux or trying to fit yourself down a really, really small chimney. This is all about how you market yourself as a Santa Claus. Look, in all honesty, I probably won't be going to a Santa school myself, but I'm now armed with the knowledge that the next time I meet someone in a Santa Claus costume, I'm going to ask them 101 questions about everything Christmas related and see if I can trip them up, just because I'm an asshole. If you liked that video, here's another one just like it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Fantastic.